Hey, what's up everybody? It is me, Geekers, back with another Who Is video, and today we are talking about who is Wonder Man, and this is going to be a pretty long, character spotlight, because he's got a very interesting kind of history, and I want to get into, a lot of it into detail, so, just his origin alone, not, any events in his career, so yeah, let's just get into it. So, Wonder Man, or Simon Williams, was the youngest of two sons born to Sanford Williams, an industrialist who founded the highly successful munitions factory called Williams Innovations. When his older brother Eric Williams declined his father's offers to join the family firm, Simon, the more studious, less athletic of the two, readily accepted. When Sanford Williams died, Simon inherited full control of the business, although he was only 22. Under Simon's inexperienced management, Williams Innovations began to lose its competitive edge in the marketplace to such rapidly growing firms as Stark Industries. Desperately, Simon sought his brother's aid, and the elder Williams agreed to offer his advice, and he suggested that Simon should embezzle some money from the company in order to invest in some other business enterprises. And desperate to save his father's business, Simon did so. His company's board of directors discovered his embezzlement, and Magia Connection, which was one of the companies that, or I'm not even sure if you could consider it a company because it was like a criminal gang, but he invested money into that, and Simon Williams was brought to trial. Sorry if you guys heard that background noise. I think something just fell in the room next door. Found guilty and facing a prison sentence, Williams was released when Amora, the enchantress, paid his bail and enchanted the authorities. Baron Zemo had read of Williams' case and was intrigued by the newspaper's assertion that he blamed Tony Stark for his downfall, and that was Baron Zemo's enemy, and he believed that Stark was the employer of Iron Man, even though Stark himself was secretly Iron Man. Disoriented by the upheavals in life, Simon Williams agreed to accompany the Enchantress and Zemo to their South American base. Williams agreed to become a test subject for Zemo's ionic ray treatment, which would put him through a bunch of arduous chemical and radiation treatments, and he was promised powers of super strength and durability, and he did get them. And Zemo gave him a costume and dubbed him Wonder Man, and outlined his plan to use him to defeat his foes, the Avengers. To ensure Wonder Man's cooperation, Zemo told him that a side effect of the treatment that gave him superhuman powers altered his metabolism so that he would die within a week if he wasn't given a regular treatment of an unspecified antidote. Not wishing to die, Wonder Man agreed to Zemo's plan, and he won the confidence of the Avengers by fighting in a staged battle against Zemo. When he explained to them that he was dying, the Avengers accepted Wonder Man into their ranks and unsuccessfully tried every means of science known to them to cure him. Soon, Wonder Man led the Avengers into an ambush by the Masters of Evil. In the course of battle, though, Wonder Man had an attack of conscience and decided that he could not betray the Avengers' kindness to him, even if it cost him his life. Deprived of Zemo's life-prolonging treatment, Wonder Man succumbed to the mysterious side of his power acquisition, telling the Avengers that he was glad that his final act was a noble one. What a guy. What a guy. Wonder Man fell still and displayed no vital signs. Although the Avengers assumed that he had died and they brought his body back to the United States for identification and burial, Wonder Man had actually gone into a death-like coma brought on by the still unstable mutagenic changes triggered in his body. Sometime later, William's brother, Eric, known as the Grim Reaper, that guy with the big claw hand, he showed up in the Vision. It was a great series. He came to retrieve his brother's body, and the Reaper wished to use his brother's cryogenically preserved body to bribe the Vision, the android whose artificial intelligence was cybernetically programmed with the memories and behavior patterns of Wonder Man, into betraying the Avengers. The Grim Reaper tried to convince Vision that his consciousness could be transferred into Wonder Man's body, giving the Vision a more human form. Later, the Reaper claimed that Wonder Man would not be resurrected and offered to have the Vision's consciousness transferred into Captain America's body instead. The Vision pretended to go along with the Reaper's scheme in order to help the Avengers apprehend him. The Grim Reaper managed to escape after the incident, however, took his seemingly lifeless body, his brother's seemingly lifeless body. Sorry, tongue twisted there. And he became obsessed with trying to bring his brother back by all means, and took his body to New Orleans, to a bunch of voodoo priests so they could resuscitate him. But they resuscitated him into some sort of zombie-like creature. And so Grim Reaper told them to instruct him to accuse the Vision of stealing his mind, and then sent him to Avengers Mansion in a crate, which was really weird. And he tried to actually attack them, but the Avengers ended up subduing him and followed him back to New Orleans to investigate what had happened. Curiously, as Wonder Man began moving about again and having been exposed to the powers of the living laser, he began to shake the effects of both the Hungan's magic, which was those voodoo priests, and Baron Zemo's detrimental radiation treatment. Within a few days, Wonder Man was consciously and fully functional once again. Much to his surprise, the Avengers later examined him and learned that he had simply been in a coma while his body was fully metamorphosed, I don't think that's a word, metamorphosized, I'm gonna say, from one flesh and blood to one of an unspecified superhuman flesh-like substance nourished by ionic energy instead of blood. That's why in more modern day versions of Wonder Man, you see that he's like fully purple. I actually have an action figure of him where he's fully purple and slightly transparent. It's really cool. I like it. Wonder Man suffered considerable psychological trauma and he had memories of death. And during the initial months of adjustment, while he resided in Avengers Mansion as a guest, he frequently lent his aid to the team. But despite his vast strength and resistance to injury, Wonder Man dreaded the thought of dying and facing oblivion again, and it was overwhelmed by cowardice in life-threatening situations. So yeah, that was some pretty big stuff. Lots of things there. But I actually like Wonder Man. He's a Marvel character. Obviously, he's not related to Wonder Woman in any way. But I do like Wonder Man, and I actually have this funny poster of him where it looks like a movie poster. It was from Wonder Man #1. I don't know why I have that comic. But some of his abilities include that he can go into an ionic energy form, and the tissue and bones of his entire body have been augmented in strength. He has superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, reflexes, and hearing. Energy vision, which he can see beyond the usual spectrum visible to the human eye. He has flight. Apparently he's immortal, which I don't know how that makes sense, but because of the ionic energy that empowers him, he no longer ages and is immune to disease and infection. I guess that works. Ionic regenerative healing, which I just touched upon. Energy manipulation. In his energy form, Williams learned he had the ability to emit ionic energy blasts of devastating force from his hands and eyes. Size alteration, which means he can be really big, and leaping. And he's very very smart, and apparently he's an actor, stuntman, and expert combatant, because he trained under Captain America. And he first appeared in Avengers #9 in October of 1964, and was created by the greats Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And he's related to the Grim Reaper, which I thought was a really interesting concept, and it gave Grim Reaper motivation in the Vision comic. If you haven't read that, you should. It's written by Tom King. But he was Wonder Man was part of the Avengers, the X-Men unwillingly, and many other groups, even the West Coast Avengers. And he was a former agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's an industrious, really smart on the levels of people like Tony Stark. And yeah, I think he's a super interesting character, and a very underrated character, because nobody likes to talk about him. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a thumbs up. Go check out some Wonder Man stuff, and go read Vision. I keep mentioning it, but it's closely tied to Wonder Man. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you leave a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit that bell to get notified whenever I make a new video, and I'll see you guys all again next time. Peace.